Okay, today we're going to show you how to install the crawler bumper fairings. It's important to understand that these two pieces, once this is installed, that this insert is going to fit into a notch on this bracket and slide forward to lock into this. This eliminates any gap and it kind of locks it in there very well. Now, we've already installed one here, but this is basically how this goes in. This hole is going to line up with the factory hole in the stock bracket, and this pad right here is going to adhere to the fender itself. Now, there's a little ridge on this fender that's going to tell you exactly where this goes. Once this goes in, this is going to go right up against that ridge, and then you're going to push this nice and solid onto this area. Now, we've provided some chemicals that you're going to put on here. You scrub this down really good with alcohol, get rid of any dirt or grime that might be in there. And then you're going to swipe it with some adhesive promoter that's provided in the kit. Now, this is not a cleaner. This is a chemical that accelerates the bond of this attachment tape to your inner fender. The whole process of this installation is going to require you to clean this inner ridge right in here, the front face of this stock bracket, the ridge inside the rear opening of the A-arm bracket, and also inside and below the hole on the A-arm bracket. Now, this is the rear attachment point. It has a little bit thicker adhesive on it, and there's a little notch in here. See a little space between the tape and the top of this bracket. Now, that space is provided for the ridge in the fender on the back hole here. You're going to place that ridge right into that, and also forward up against the ridge in the body seam. It's going to go up against the fender ridge in the rear, down on the opening, and the same as this one. This is going to go up against the fender ridge, up against the fender, and that should line you up perfectly with this hole and the factory hole. Once you've gotten these in, you're going to press real firm on this to make sure these has good attachment, same thing in the rear. Then the next step would be to put this trim. The trim is only going to ride on the front edge of this opening, and you're going to attach it right exactly at the body seam. Okay? Just run it right along, nice and even, nice and flush. If there's any excess to the trim, just snip it off with a little scissor or something. You're going to just run it right along until the end. Okay? Now, just press that on and that'll set that, and that provides a nice looking finish between the fender and the part that we're going to put in. Now, part of the installation of this part is going to require you to squeeze this. This little tab here in the bottom of this part is actually going to sit down in here somewhere. So what you're going to need to do to get it in is you're going to have to squeeze this, just like so. And that'll allow this to kind of sneak in over there and sit on top of this bracket. We've provided a plastic piece for you to install, very simple. It kind of is shaped to the opening so you'll know exactly where to put it. Now, with that in place and everything in place, the next step would be to insert the panel right into the hole, okay? And then here's that lower tab that we're going to ask you to squeeze and set in place. Now, this is going to take some force. It's 20 gauge stainless. It's very firm, but it's going to be soft enough to allow you to squeeze this and get this panel in. So that's what you're going to do. You're just going to kind of squeeze it in like that. And then manipulate it so that the front of this actually goes past the opening, like so. Okay? your part is inside the hole, the next step will be to take the tab and work it into the notch of the lower bracket. Now it takes a little bit of doing. What you're going to want to do is kind of push this forward. And once you're in the tab, it's going to drop down. Once you line up that front notch, it'll allow you to push forward like so. The next step will be to put the bolt in for the top bracket. Your kit comes to you with a quarter 20 nut and bolt. What you're going to do is line up the chrome trim with the chrome molding we put in earlier. So you're going to just take that and just kind of line it up real good. You're also going to line up in and out so that it looks good. And then you lock that position with the quarter 20 nut and bolt. Now, the next step in this installation is to attach the back half of the insert to the bracket we've installed earlier. You're going to have to kind of shape this a little bit, and that's going to require you to just kind of take it and manipulate it and kind of adjust it so that you have a nice contour along the back. Once you've adjusted the shape of the fairing, just simply tack it into the bracket we've installed earlier. Best way to do that is just kind of line it up and you screw it in like that until you're nice and tight. And that's going to lock the entire unit to the car. And then just take it and shape it, make sure that you've got a nice contour to the car. It's okay if you have some minor spacing between your fairing and your fender. Whatever gaps you have will probably kind of work its way out in time. You know, your fender is extremely flexible, so is the part. And once you've got it the way you want it, that's how you put that in. Now the next step will be to attach the LED system to the Prowler. We've provided you with a blackout bulb and some simple electrical connectors so that you can take the socket from your bumper, that's the original light socket, and the original rear harness connector. You're going to snip those off the factory bumper and you're going to put them together like so. You have 3 wires. One's going to be your ground wire. You're just going to need to connect that with the blue connector we've provided. And then the 2 other wires are going to be connected back to each other, except we're going to add this little blade connector on both of these. It's very important that when you make the connection that you don't reverse these wires. It won't work properly. You could possibly damage the LED. Now, your kit comes to you with the connectors already installed. One of these wires is going to be a solid black. That's a ground wire. And one of these wires is going to be a black with a white tracer. That's your power wire. Now that power wire is going to go into your center wire. In this harness, that's your center wire. That's your actual electrical power feed. So you're going to connect your black wire with the white stripe to that center wire. So, and then the black wire is your remaining ground. This is your ground signal for the for your lighting. Now, basically what we've done there is we've just tapped an LED into the factory electronics. You can't take a regular normal bulb and replace it with an LED light. There's different electronics involved in that. So what we've done is we've provided you with a blackout bulb so that you can keep the factory circuit complete. Then you take the receiving end and just connect it back to the factory plug. And then once that is connected, you're going to just simply tuck this out of the way, attaching it to a little Velcro cookie we've placed earlier.
that's how that works.